Beowulf, a blend of religion and tradition. Beowulf, an epic poem from early Britain, contains Christian and Anglo-Saxon ideas. It is insane to try to promote Anglo-Saxon tradition and Christianity in one poem, but was it successful? Anglo-Saxon tradition is portrayed partially accurate, as war and teamwork was displayed throughout the poem, but Anglo-Saxon religion, which was part of tradition, was not mentioned in the poem, and Christianity was not displayed properly because this poem deceives people. Plus, Beowulf, a character in this poem, physically fought a demon, which is not biblical, and Beowulf was prideful throughout the poem, which is sin. Anglo-Saxon religion was polytheistic. Two of the Anglo-Saxon gods were Thor and Odin, according to a website article, Religion in the Anglo-Saxon Period. Anglo-Saxon religion has influenced modern society, as it has influenced people to create movie characters about them. However, these two gods weren't mentioned in the poem. As a matter of fact, not one Anglo-Saxon god was mentioned in the poem. Fighting was a part of daily life in Anglo-Saxon culture, as Delahoyd says. In Beowulf fought Grendel, and Beowulf's soldiers fought Grendel as well. The poem says, quote, "The two contenders crashed through the building," end quote, and, quote, "Beowulf's warriors worked to defend their lord's life," end quote. Also, according to Delahoyd, occasionally some tribes united together for a great cause. In the poem, two separate warrior groups united, which were Hygelaic's kinsmen and Beowulf's kinsmen, to fight against Grendel. In the last battle in the poem, Grendel gets his powers taken away because he had given offense to God, according to the poem. God cannot take away gifts that he gives. In the Planet Word Bible, Romans 11:29 reveals this, telling the readers, quote, "For the gifts and callings of God are irrevocable," end quote. This applies to every person, angel, and demon. Because of this, the poem lies to the audience. Lying, according to Colossians 3:9 in the Planet Word Bible, is sin, and sin, according to the Planet Word Bible, in 1 John 3:4, is lawlessness. Beowulf fights with his physical might to fight off his, quote, demon opponent, end quote, according to this poem, which is not biblical, because there is nowhere in the Bible that promotes this. As a matter of fact, the Bible talks against this. 2 Corinthians 10:4 in the Planet Word Bible says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for pulling down strongholds." Humility is when someone recognizes that their ways are lower than God's ways, and they obey him. However, pride is when they think their ways are higher than God's, and they disobey him. Beowulf doesn't ask the Lord for help, and because he doesn't ask the Lord for help to defeat Grendel at all throughout this poem, he thinks he can defeat Grendel without the Lord's help, which is prideful. There are other instances in the poem where Beowulf is prideful too. According to the poem, Beowulf, when Beowulf defeats Grendel, quote, "The Geat captain had boldly fulfilled his boast to the Danes," end quote, and, quote, "Beowulf, that prince of goodness, proudly asserted, 'When it comes to fighting, I count myself as dangerous any day as Grendel,'" end quote. And the Bible also talks against pride as well. 1 Peter 5:6 in the Planet Word Bible says, "Therefore humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time." Beowulf attempts to combine Anglo-Saxon tradition and Christian religion. The Anglo-Saxon tradition got portrayed more accurately than Christianity, because fighting and cooperation was shown in this poem, but none of the Anglo-Saxon gods were mentioned. Furthermore, Beowulf was prideful, which is sin, and physically fighting a demon isn't biblical. This is my works cited.